In tonight's Corner Office, the market for reducing people's pain and fighting historically difficult diseases is often led by smaller, upstart pharmaceutical companies. Many of these companies are getting their start in Israel. The CEO of one, Immune Pharmaceuticals, joins us to talk about how his company has been taken public and the success the business is having. Dr. Dan Teper is the founder and CEO of Immune Pharmaceuticals. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for being here.
What are some of the drugs that you're working on that's in the pipeline?
Well, actually, the company was founded 3.5 years ago, and we acquired a number of drugs already at some advanced stage of development. We have a portfolio that ranges from a lead drug called bertoluimab. It's a monoclonal antibody, so it uses the body's immune system to, in our case, fight autoimmune diseases. In other cases, it's to fight cancer.
And autoimmune diseases have been, like rheumatoid arthritis, for example, have been some of the toughest to battle.
Absolutely. So our drug, fights specifically Crohn's disease and ulcerative colitis. It also fights some rare disease. There's a disease called bullous pemphigoid that happens in people over 60. It's an autoimmune disease. The body is covered by blisters, so it's a very difficult disease.
One of the criticisms of the FDA approval process here is that it is very slow. How are you finding it going?
Well, it is slow. At the same time, last year was a record year for new drugs. So I think that if you have innovative drugs and you work closely with the FDA, and today I think it's a global market too, so whatever is acceptable to the FDA is also acceptable in Europe and across the world. I think you can move through the process fairly quickly.
You're a US-based company, but the process and the research and the manufacturing is done in Israel, and we have seen more and more of that. What makes Israel attractive to either pharmaceutical companies, or what is the environment like there that is sort of crafting these companies?
Well, Israel has originated a number of drugs, but they've not commercialized them for the most part. I mean, they've been licensed, early on to big international companies. I think today there's an opportunity for building an Israeli biotech industry, the same way Israel has built a global high-tech industry. It's going step by step, but clearly, there's the science, there's great hospitals and doctors, so it's easy to do clinical trials. And there's this now, international management and, companies being partly in Israel and in the US that helps, go in that direction.
Is there anything different about regulations and legal sort of positioning between the United States and Israel, the US, which has been seen for so many years as the forefront of drugs, that sort of is...
But actually, all companies, whether they're Israeli, American, or European now, are developing to the standards of the FDA. So there's really nothing different. I think what's attractive about Israel is the basic research that you have from the university and the number of patents. The number of patents by, the number of patents coming of Israel is, among the top 2 or 3 in the world, including in medicine. And also the ability to do clinical trials and recruit patients. It's more and more difficult to recruit patients for clinical trials in the US. And it's still, relatively easy with doctors of the same caliber that you have in New York or in California that you can find in Israel.
You recently took the company public. Why? And do you think that you might be an acquisition target at some point as these drugs come online?
Well, biotechnology requires, and developing drugs requires a lot of capital. We were privileged to have, private investors helping us. But in order to scale up, it's easier to be listed on the public market, and particularly in the US. So we're listed on the NASDAQ under IMNP.
So where so many companies have shied away from being public right now, it is an advantage for biotech.
It is an advantage. So, I mean, for example, we raised $10 million overnight. In November. We could never do that as a private company.
Okay. Dr. Dan Teper, the founder and CEO of Immune Pharmaceutical. Thank you so much. Very interesting.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Tomorrow on Arise Exchange, the changing face of the music industry, struggling to stay profitable as album sales. Remember, albums tank and streaming services take over. Let's take a look at the markets. Once again, a second straight triple-digit day for the markets. The Dow up better than 300 points, now in positive territory for the year. The S&P 500 and NASDAQ also in the green. I'm Andrew Schmertz. Thanks for watching Arise Exchange. We will see you here tomorrow.